Hi everybody, Danny Gottlieb here for Drum Magazine. This is a new practice pad article, and this is dealing with the topic of developing a fast jazz ride cymbal. Let's take a paradiddle, just a right paradiddle, right, left, right, right. And then a left paradiddle, left, right, left, left. No accent. Okay, now if you play two right paradiddles in a row, right, right, left paradiddle, you can start to develop a little dexterity that you notice kind of starts to sound like a jazz ride cymbal. Now let's expand that to four right paradiddles. Right, 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 left, 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 four paradiddles each. Right, 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 left, 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 left. And it's a way of really developing your right hand so you can get some terrific dexterity. But there's a couple of elements that have to happen in order to make this work from the system that I studied, which is Joe Morello's system that he studied with George Lawrence Stone, who wrote the stick control book. First thing is you have to use natural body movement, as Joe called it, which is basically to hold the stick in the way that the wrist goes naturally without a stick. There's no tension in this movement, Joe used to point out to us. So you hold the stick in with a space between the thumb and the first finger. As soon as you start to squeeze, it goes out the window. So it's basically moving the wrist with no tension, the same way it moves with no stick, with a stick. And so that's how I basically work on strokes. And when you do multiple right-hand paradiddles and left-hand paradiddles, then translate it to the cymbal. Voila, there's your fast ride cymbal beat. Now, a couple of things about the music playing a fast ride cymbal beat. A lot of students come to the University of North Florida, and I ask them to play a fast cymbal beat, and most of the time they can keep a consistent tempo, but they don't do anything with the bass drum. But when I practice playing fast, I try to do some comping. And I also tend to play something that I developed by studying with Mel Lewis and listening to Mel Lewis, which is, he to me sounded a lot like he was very influenced by New Orleans drumming and swing music from an older era where you'd play a lot of boom in a jazz rhythm like this. And the bass drum would hit with the right hand. Instead of having independence, it was almost like the bass drum and the right hand were one limb and everything else was kind of around it. And the other influence for me musically, I've been working on a book with the great Harold Jones, who played with Count Basie in the 60s and then with Sarah Vaughan, and now has been with Tony Bennett for many, many years. But when you listen to Harold with Count Basie on Basie Straight Ahead or Swingin' Machine Live or Standing Ovation, his fast ride cymbal beat is not din digga din digga din digga din digga, it's din digga din dat din digga din dat din digga din dig dig, like this. It's a way that you don't have to kill yourself going din digga din digga din digga din ding all the time. And I asked Harold about it, and he said that's the way he heard it, but I think a lot of it had to do with Freddie Green playing the guitar going ching 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 ching. It's a way you can keep really solid time, ding digga ding ding digga ding, and keep that quarter note really, really solid. But one last thing about the Joe Morello method, it actually translates well to brushes. What happens is your wrists start to develop. I mean, I can do it even without a stick. What happens is your wrists are able to move. There's no rebound here. And that's from practicing on the pad using that natural body movement. Thank you, Joe Morello. Thank you, Mel Lewis. Thank you, Harold Jones, my teachers, big influence. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you've enjoyed this practice pad exercise and video.